Hello friends, if you are an active user of Twitter and are into the politics of South India, you might have come across thousands of tweets reading #Save Lakshadweep over the past few days. A social media movement #Save Lakshadweep has emerged to highlight the ongoing crisis in the island. People, mainly from Lakshadweep and Kerala, took to social media with cries of #Save Lakshadweep to call out Praful Khoda Patel for his authoritative regulations like the LDAR and PASA. This issue has now become a national issue after Rajya Sabha MP from Kerala, Elamaram Karim, wrote to the President Ramnath Kovind on this issue. After this, many politicians, celebrities, activists and civilians, mainly from the state of Kerala, have raised their voice on this issue through various platforms. In this video, we will discuss on what is happening in Lakshadweep, why is #Save Lakshadweep trending, who is this new administrator of Lakshadweep and what are his new decisions. We will also look into who said what on this issue. My name is Nihal Mohammed and you're watching The Upfront. Lakshadweep is a tropical archipelago of 36 atolls and coral reefs in the Lakshadweep Sea off the coast of Kerala, India. It is a very small area comprising of only 32 square kilometers and is the smallest union territory in the country. If you say Kashmir is the heaven of North India, you can say Lakshadweep is the heaven in South India. This group of islands have no legislative assembly and is ruled by an agent appointed by the President. The President can specify the designation of the agent, which may be Lieutenant Governor or Chief Commissioner or Administrator. An administrator of a union territory, however, is an agent of the President and not the head of the state like a governor. This crisis is mainly because of the new draft of Lakshadweep Development Authority Regulation 2021 LDAR, which gives the administrator powers to remove or relocate islanders from their property for town planning or any developmental activity, and also the Prevention of Anti-Social Activities Act PASA, introduced in January 2021, which gives the government power to detain a person without any public disclosure for a period of up to 1 year, brought into force by the administration of Lakshadweep led by Praful Khoda Patel. Another proposed bill, the Lakshadweep Anti-Social Activities Regulation 2021, has caught up controversy because such harsh laws are unwarranted because the island has a very low crime rate and many clauses are likely to be misused and may infringe on a person's legitimate rights, said Congress leader Hibi Eden in his letter to PM Modi and President Ramnath Kovind. Kerala MP Elamaram Karim in his letter to President Ramnath Kovind alleged that many casual and contract laborers working under different departments have lost their jobs under changing rules on the island. Further, the sheds where fishermen used to keep their nets and other equipment were demolished by the new administration on the grounds that they violated the Coast Guard Act. The temporary buildings, which were earlier constructed under an exemption given only to the fishermen by the administrator, are now being demolished without any warning, he charged. The administration has also decided that islanders should no longer depend on Bepur, Kerala, for free transit. Instead, they should depend on Mangalore, Karnataka for this purpose, he said. The draft bill gives sweeping, arbitrary and unchecked powers to the government and all its bodies to directly interfere with an islander's right to possess and retain their property. Apart from this, there are many allegations citing that there is a blatant attempt on the part of the administration to erase the cultural and religious beliefs and ethos held by the Muslim majority people living in Lakshadweep. Other new regulations include stopping schools from serving non-vegetarian food and destroying sheds of fishermen. A video of a local fisherman crying out his distress has gone viral on social media. Let's have a look on it before we move ahead. There is a fear that enforcing restrictions on slaughtering and transport of beef products is a backdoor beef ban. As per the draft, no person should directly or indirectly sell, keep, store, transport offer or expose for sale or buy beef or beef products in any form anywhere in Lakshadweep. The draft empowers the administrator or a competent authority to seize beef or beef products being transported. The guilty can end up with prison terms which may extend to 10 years but shall not be less than 7 years, and a fine which may extend to rupees 5 lakh but shall not be less than rupees 1 lakh. Karim too alleged that the orders and promulgations issued by the Patel administration lacked consideration towards the people, their choice of food and their livelihood. The undemocratic and anti-people regulation in the name of animal prevention, which intends to ban slaughter, transportation, selling or buying of beef products, is one among such orders. When Praful Patel was asked to comment on this issue, Patel said the Lakshadweep Islands have not witnessed development in 70 years since independence, and his administration was only trying to develop it. Not people of Lakshadweep, but a few whose interests are getting jeopardized are opposing the draft regulation. Else I do not see anything abnormal in it that should be opposed. The Lakshadweep Islands are not very far from Maldives. But Maldives is a global tourist destination and Lakshadweep has witnessed no development in all these years. We are trying to make it a global hub of tourism, coconut, fish and seaweed, Patel said. Another notification that has spiked controversy is the new draft Panchayat notification. The draft Panchayat notification says a member with more than 2 children is disqualified from being a member. No person shall be a member of a Gram Panchayat or continue as such who has more than 2 children, the draft rule says. This has created panic among the residents about their ability to contest polls if they don't fit this criterion. This is meaningless as Lakshadweep has a fertility rate of 1.4, one of the lowest among all states and union territories of the country, according to the National Family Health Survey 2019-2020. These are not the only reasons for these protests. When the whole nation was battling COVID-19, this beautiful island had not reported a single case until Jan 2021. But now, the cases have gone from 0 to 5,000 cases. Many allege that administrative failure of Praful Patel is the major reason behind this. Earlier, the standard operating procedure of the island required strict quarantine for 14 days before entering the island. But Patel diluted the norms, saying an RT-PCR negative certificate is enough to enter Lakshadweep, which has created concerns among the islanders. Ironically, while a beef ban has been proposed, the ban on use of alcohol has been lifted. In accordance with the religious beliefs of the local community, MP Binoy Vishwam added that the consumption of alcohol was banned on the islands. However, the administrator has now begun issuing liquor licenses under the guise of promoting tourism and individual freedom, thereby completely ignoring the socio-cultural context of the area, he said. MP from Lakshadweep, Muhammad Faisal, said people were also agitated over the dilution of norms for serving liquor at resorts. As part of tourism promotion, resorts in populated islands will be allowed to supply liquor. Earlier, liquor was allowed only at resorts in the uninhabited Bangaram Island. Responding to all this, Lakshadweep administrator Praful Patel said that the rules were framed without consulting elected representatives. Patel said the very fact that these were draft regulations meant that people could give suggestions. He said the local MP had not spoken to him regarding his opposition to the draft regulations. On the proposed regulation banning sale or transportation of beef or beef products, Patel said those who are opposing it should tell us why they are opposing it. On the new COVID-19 entry regulations, he said he had acted in accordance with the central government guidelines. Many on internet allege that this is an attempt by BJP and the Sangh Parivar to cause havoc in the lives of the Muslim majority people by imposing Hindutva on them. Now you might have a question, why? You will no longer have this question after I answer the next question. Who is Praful Patel? Praful Khoda Patel, hailing from Gujarat, was the state's former home minister when Narendra Modi was its chief minister. Known to be Modi's close aide, Patel was made administrator of Lakshadweep in December 2020 after the death of former administrator and IPS officer Dineshwar Sharma. Earlier, Patel was appointed as administrator of Daman and Diu and Dadra and Nagar Haveli in 2016. Appointing politicians as administrators was the Modi-led government's departure from the earlier practice of appointing only civil servants. Since 2015, administrators in the Union Territory were officers from either the IAS or IPS. However, the present leader, Mr. Praful Patel, belongs to neither group. His name cropped up in the suicide of Mohan Delka, an independent MP from Dadra and Nagar Haveli, who named Patel among others, in his 15-page purported suicide note. Patel became Gujarat Home Minister in 2010 after Amit Shah had to vacate the post following the Sohrabuddin Sheikh encounter case. Patel stayed in the job till 2012. Praful Patel's father, Khoda Ranchodbhai Patel, was a Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh leader, and PM Modi considered him his guru and often visited him. Over the past few days, a slew of well-known personalities have stepped up to highlight the situation in Lakshadweep, calling for action against the administration. Activist and founder of Tribal Army, Hansraj Meena, also tweeted in support of Lakshadweep. I stand in solidarity with the people of Lakshadweep who have fallen prey to the fascistic policies enforced upon them by the new administration and central government, he wrote. In another tweet, he urged others to stand with the native tribal community of Lakshadweep. How does disrupting the way of life of a centuries-old peaceful settlement become an acceptable means of progress? How will threatening the balance of a very delicate island ecosystem with no regard for the potential consequences pave the way for sustainable development? Asked actor Prithviraj Sukumaran, noting that no islander that he had spoken to was happy with what's happening. In a lengthy thread, footballer CK Vineet hit out at administrative injustices in the island territory, contending that it had been one problem after another for the people of Lakshadweep ever since a new administrator was appointed. Hyderabad MP and All India Majlis-e-Ittihadul Muslimin Supremo Asaduddin Owaisi said that the Modi-led central government is causing irreversible destruction to the island and its people. He urged to withdraw all the anti-islander laws from Lakshadweep and replace Patel as the administrator. BJP's motto is, if it ain't broke, break it. I first raised this issue on February 9th, prompted by my ex-MP friend. Today, the protests have become a storm. The government has to intervene. We are destroying a peaceful part of the country where peace, communal harmony have reigned undisturbed. Stop the rot, tweeted Congress MP from Thiruvananthapuram Shashi Tharoor. M.I. Abdul Aziz, the president of the Kerala chapter of Jamaat-e-Islami Hind, said that the union government should immediately recall the administrator who is ruthlessly implementing Sangh Parivar's agenda in Lakshadweep, an agenda that's totally racist. A policy of maltreatment of the islanders who have been living in social harmony is being followed by the authorities. Negating their very right to protest against the high-handedness of the administrator is highly condemnable. Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan said that news reports from Lakshadweep are quite serious. Challenges imposed on their lives, livelihoods and culture cannot be accepted. Kerala has a strong relationship, a long history of cooperation with Lakshadweep. Unequivocally condemn devious efforts to thwart it. Perpetrators should desist. Padma Shri winning marine researcher, ecologist, shipbuilder and a polyglot, Ali Manik Khan said unnecessary laws could be a problem if implemented in Lakshadweep. Officers should work with the people to study the culture and the way of life. Whatever the administration feels is now being implemented in Lakshadweep. Many administrators have ruled the island. The lives of the island's inhabitants were later realized by the authorities. Ali Manik Khan also said that problem could be created if the administrator does not stop taking the Lakshadweep people's lives for a ride. Apart from this, many other MLAs, MPs from various political parties, many student organizations, political, social and religious organizations have raised their voice against the new administrative steps taken by Shri Praful Patel in Lakshadweep. Proposed LDAR is anti-people, catastrophic for Lakshadweep and is against the core ethos of the constitution. The draft Lakshadweep Development Authority Regulation 2021, released in the tumultuous times of the COVID-19 pandemic, signals a brazen intent to disempower the indigenous people of Lakshadweep, the country's most vulnerable archipelago. This regulation gives sweeping power to the administrator and by extension to the central government. The draft directly threatens the existing land ownership and usage in Lakshadweep by giving arbitrary and unchecked powers to the government and all its bodies to directly interfere with an islander's right to possess and retain their property. Section 29 of the draft empowers the government to choose any land for development activities. Under this regulation, the acquired land can be used as the government sees fit with no regard to the will of the landowner. The draft provides a deliberately vague construction of the term public use, allowing it to be easily abused by the administrator and other authorities. If implemented, the proposed regulation will be catastrophic for the fragile ecosystem of Lakshadweep, which is very rich in biodiversity. It is in clear contradiction of the constitutional mandate to protect India's environment and natural biodiversity. What's worse than this vicious proposal is the fact that Praful Patel, the infamous administrator, has a record of high-handedness. The very first law reform of the administrator since taking office was the introduction of the Gunda Act in a place where prisons are almost empty. Secondly, the draft Panchayat notification provides that persons with more than 2 kids are not eligible for participating in Panchayat elections. The Animal Preservation Act seeks to ban beef in a place with a majority of Muslim population. Many more such eccentric acts and regulations have been imposed on the local people. We must be extremely concerned that this rich island, filled with flora and fauna and having a unique indigenous culture and heritage, is said to be colonized by a hollow development agenda. Our constitution has given provisions for the protection of the rights of indigenous people and their land. This act is clearly a betrayal of the constitutional spirit of inclusivity and development in harmony with nature and natural biodiversity. In this regard, we must strongly demand that the proposed draconian LDAR 2021 be immediately revoked. As the administrator, Praful Patel has clearly been proved to be inept in handling the affairs of the island. He must be immediately recalled. We must stand in solidarity with the people of Lakshadweep in their rightful struggle against such draconian laws and incapable administration. We must finally appeal to our fellow citizens to be sensitive with respect to the rights of our people and also to take care of our environment. We should surely not accept a trade-off between people and hollow slogans of development and tourism. If you like the content we provide, please share our videos and subscribe to the Upprint and press the bell icon to get notifications of all our updates. Thank you.